I've been doing this now for almost 10 years. I started this in 1999, and 2009 is going to be the 10-year mark. And I've tried everything. I've talked to anyone who'll listen to me, and I've talked to people who probably didn't want to listen, and I made them listen anyway because I wanted to tell the story. My deepest heart's desire is to reach this next generation. I want to undo the damage that we have done. I'm a baby boomer, and I really get really tough on us baby boomers because we're the ones who came up with this label craze. We're the ones who decided that we were going to change the definition of success. We're the ones who said success is no longer so much about who you are, but it's about what you have. And we're the ones who really started to redefine what success really looks like. And now we've gotten down to the millennials and the Y generation and all our youngest kids. And I go visit the schools and I look at these 10-year-olds who look into my eyes and are looking for an answer. They're looking at all of us wanting to know there's got to be something better than the way you're going about things. Y'all have gone after money and things and stuff and houses and all the stuff that we acquire, and yet y'all are all miserable. And they're looking at us thinking, okay, everybody's getting a divorce. The whole world is falling apart. There's nothing but smut out there, and you're putting me in the middle of it. Why aren't you doing something to help me? Why aren't you helping me become who I was created to be? Why are you so consumed with what you're doing and you're trying to dump it all on me? I don't want it. I hear it and see it in kids all the time, from 10-year-olds up to 16 and 17-year-olds who come out and just tell me. A 16-year-old girl recently told me, you know, Miss Jill, if I could just reach my mom, could you talk to my mom? Could you get through to her? I get it, Miss Jill, but she doesn't. What, can you help my mom? And the kids of today are screaming. They're screaming at us, stop it, stop it, stop it. They can't take it anymore. And I've been trying to scream on top of it all and try to get through today and convince the adults of today's world that we have just messed it up and that we've got to stand up and take responsibility. You know, we're blaming the teenagers of today. We're screaming, saying the teenagers are so off base, and look how raucous and look how these horrific crimes that the teenagers are committing today. Well, I got news for you. A 16-year-old is not having trouble and struggling and in drugs and lost in the world because that's where they want to be. They're responding to the world that we have given them to grow up in. They're not making the choices they're making because it's what they want to be and where they want to be. They're making those choices. They're making those choices because they're responding to the mess that we've given them, and they're trying to find a way out of it. And we have buried them in this gigantic mess. And until we all will stand up and take responsibility for our part in it, we're not going to fix the problem. We can continue to put millions of dollars in our school systems. We can put a computer on every desk in every school in America, and guess what? It's not going to fix the problem. It's not a technology problem. It's not a math and science problem. It's much deeper than that. It's getting back into the hearts of our kids. They're doing homework, but we're not doing the hard work. And we've got to get in the hearts of these kids today and begin to set our goals as parents, our goals as educators, our goals as business leaders. We've got to change our goals. It can't continue to be about money and things and success and fame and all that stuff. Where has that gotten us? Where has that gotten us? I mean, pick up the newspaper, turn on the television. You know, we see where it's gotten us. Is this where we really want to be as a society? And is this what we want to give to the children? Is this really what we want our kids to inherit? Is this the legacy we want to leave to our kids, this big, gigantic mess of that we're living in? We're just in quicksand. And Manners of the Heart is doing all we can do to throw that rope out and to rescue our society, because someone's got to do it. And for some reason, I've been the one called to lead this charge. And I've been trying to do it with very little resources, and we've come a long way. We've certainly come a long way. We have our elementary curriculum in over 800 schools across the country and abroad. We have businesses that call every week looking for our training through the Business of Manners, our marketplace and corporate training. We've been reaching high school students. A short story on a high school student. I was leaving a restaurant recently, and as I was walking out, a young man standing at like the maitre d' said, "Wait, lady, 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 wait, wait, wait." And I said, "Are you talking to me?" And he said, "Yeah, lady. You're who are you?" And I said, Jill Rigby." "Oh, Miss Jill, Miss Jill." "Yeah." She said, "Come here, I got to show you something." He reached in his pocket. And he pulled out a silver dollar. And he put it in his hand, and he said, "Look what I've got." And I looked at him, and this silver dollar had come from a training he had gone through in our Leaders by Example program a year ago.
Wow.
And a year later, he begins telling me how that changed his life. That he said, "I was a bad dude." I still can see him standing there saying, "I was a bad dude. I was headed down the wrong road, Miss Jill, until you came along. And when you finished with me in that Leaders by Example, and you handed us those silver dollars, and you told us that that silver dollar is like the time of your life. Only you can choose how it will be spent. You can choose it wisely, you can choose to give it away, or you can choose to have others spend it for you. But the choice is yours. And then you told us, Miss Jill, to put that silver dollar somewhere where we would remember it. And it would be that reminder of all the stuff you tried to teach us." He said, "I did it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And look, this is proof I did it." And then he went on to tell me everything that had changed in his life. And he was a top student, and he was headed for college. And it had changed his whole perspective, his whole outlook on life. And somehow in his lifetime, no one had ever either taken the time to get real and to be honest and real with him and tell him how it really is and what it's really going to take to get somewhere, or either his home life had not been one. Well, he went on to tell me about his home life, and he was not growing up in a home life that would support any of this at all. He didn't have it in his neighborhood, and unfortunately, he didn't have it in his school either. He wasn't getting it from anywhere until we walked in and gave it to him. And there he was a year later, and he said, "Look, Miss Jill, every morning I get up and I put it in my pocket, and I put it by my bed when I go to sleep at night." And, and of course I started crying and had to hug his neck and and everything else. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And that's it for me. That's what we're trying to do.
So you gave him a reference point in the middle of the chaos.
Yes. And one of my deepest desires is that Manners of the Heart can be that voice that comes through above, that comes through louder than all those voices out there that are screaming our kids' names, that are calling them by name. And it's everything we've already talked about. It's the media, it's the television, it's the music, it's the world out there who is screaming our kids, calling them by name, "Come this way, come this way, come on, come on, come on. We got the answers, we got the answers." And they head down that path, and all it takes them is to destruction. And what we're trying to do at Manners of the Heart is to get us big enough and bold enough and strong enough as an organization that our voice can be heard above all the chatter and the clutter and the noise out there in the world that's destroying our kids. Because we've got the answer, and we're proving that we have the answer. The schools using our programs, we get amazing stories back where not only are they having a decrease in disciplinary problems, but hallelujah, they're having an increase in academic achievement when the only change they made in a school is they brought Manners of the Heart in. And we have families, as I've mentioned, we have families. I received an email not long ago from a mom with her 16-year-old daughter, and it had just completely turned their home upside down, and they did smash a mirror. And they smashed it to make the point, "Honey, we're not going to live in the mirror anymore. I'm not going to live that way, and you're not going to live that way. And as a family, we're not. We're going to begin to live at the window." And we have testimonies constantly from what we've been doing. But, I've been doing it by myself with the help of, not completely alone, but with the help of wonderful staff and amazing volunteers and helpers who want to help. And we're doing as much as we can do at this point, but there's so much more work to be done. But we can't do it by ourselves any longer.